Hello, my Web3 Women's Space. It's Maria, and today we have our third interview with an amazing female entrepreneur, Zaïna, and we will be covering the legal part of Web3 NFT projects. And I want to introduce Zaïna briefly, and after she will speak about her background, who is she, how she is helping females all around the world. And so Zaïna is a lawyer. She is coming from law background, and she's IP and Web3 lawyer now, and the founder of Alpha Legal Creatives company. So hello Zaïna, thank you for accepting my invitations. I'm very happy to see you here.
Of course.
And please introduce yourself. Who are you? From where are you coming? How you transited from Web2 to Web3 world, and what is your occupation?
So I am from Brussels originally. I'm living in Antwerp for the moment, but I am from Brussels. So that means that I also speak French, I speak Dutch, and I speak English, which I think is very good also to work as a lawyer and to be very flexible to work with different people from different countries in different languages. I studied law school because as a teenager, my father is a sculptor still now. I was very intrigued and passionate about how he worked. But when I was 15, he told me that creatives and artists, they were not very good represented in law. So that means that they didn't know how to read contracts. They didn't know what a copyright or a trademark was. So since I'm 15 years old, I've known that I wanted to change the world and do something for creatives, startups, and artists, to give even free legal advice and to do something in the legal area. And of course, now with more and more of the transition to Web3, we're moving more and more to the digital art part, but it stays actually still protection of creativity, of trademarks and copyrights.
Wow, that's amazing. Actually, I agree with you on the part with creatives and this lack of legal part, because I'm coming from creative background. Like I graduated from the Academy of Fine Arts, so I know how it works. Like we creative people, we are so inspired by the projects. We like do all the stuff that is on our side, but we forget about legal parts like very often. So that's amazing that you are doing this. You are like a bridge, and you are like linking, these creative and legal aspects. That's great, thank you for that. And today we will be covering very important topics. I think it's all about copyrights, trademarks, plagiarism, NFT and Web3. So that's great, I'm very excited, and I have a lot of questions, so I tried to make it short to be very concise, and I'm sure you will provide a lot of important and valuable information for our listeners. So let's start talking about importance of protecting art and how creative people can protect their art from plagiarism, from copycats. And for example, like when you are starting your NFT project or you are managing an NFT project, what are the main aspects to consider to be on this track to do everything in the right way?
Of course, I think that the legal part is not always the most fun part. So the problem is with law that people have an idea that a lawyer is very expensive, and that a lawyer is someone who is old. A man often, and not a lot of women that come forward or have a dream in being a very good lawyer. But the problem is that law is not very accessible. And you see, for startups, creatives, artists, even when you start a business, you don't have all the money to spend in the different areas of your business. So that means that the legal part becomes actually the last part in which you want to invest. So that's very sad, actually. What I've seen since that I'm a teenager, because my background is also art from my dad's side, is that it looks as if the society wants a little bit to keep the creatives, the artists, the startups, to keep them a bit in the dark. Like, don't go searching for too much information. This is I mean, if we talk about Web3, this is something that comes up, of course. But with law, it's very typical, because it seems as if it's too expensive, and people think of it as if it's the last thing that you need to do. And for me as a lawyer, but also as a creative, I think it's one of the first things, like you just said. What if you start a business? What if you are an artist and you want to do an exhibition? The same for Web3 with NFTs. What if you want to start a project? I think that the first important thing to do is, what I do as a lawyer is to see if the name, the trademark, is available, to see if the name under which you are collabing or having an art exhibition or an NFT exposure, if the name is already available. That's already the first part. The second part, I think, would be to see the partnerships. If you start an NFT project, or even as an artist, you work in an art gallery, or you will give an exposure with different artists, you need to make sure that you are protected in the contract. What is the gallery going to take? Who are the parties you're working with? Are you covered also insurance if something would happen with your sculptures or your art? The same values are in the NFTs or in Web3. You need to make sure that the contract between the artist, for example, and the IT person is correct. Who is the artist? Who is going to create? Who is the owner of the works that are minted on OpenSea or Rarible? So I think those are problems that are in Web 2, but are also existing in Web 3. And it's not a lot of difference, actually. People think that it's more complicated, but it's actually not. So I would say, Marina, that in the beginning, you need to make sure of the people that you work with, and also to see if the copyrights belong to you.
Yes, Zaina, I definitely agree. And you mentioned a lot like trademarks, copyrights. I am relatively familiar with this because I work as a brand strategist, so I know how that trademark like represents your brand, your identity. Let's say it can be like a logo or just representative of your sources of your project, of your brand, and that's very important to consider, to have into consideration from the beginning. Like as soon as you start your project, it could be like an NFT project, like any other project, you should follow these steps in case you want your product to be worldwidely used, and you can like in case you want to use it in a right way. And copyrights, when it comes to copyrights, copywriting is like it represents the exclusive right of the author, right? It can be artist, it can be writer, singer, etc. So it's very important to differentiate to these two things like trademarks and copyrights, and it's very important to follow the rules to, and it's the same in Web3, in Web2, everywhere it's the same.
I don't see any differences. Yeah. And this is actually why I wanted to mean a lot in the Web3 world, because as a lawyer, I am an intellectual property lawyer. That means that I protect trademarks, logos, art in every way. I actually see the word creativity very large. So I don't really see a difference between traditional art and NFTs, or even in crypto. It just means that we also need to be careful when we are an entrepreneur online. And like you just said, Maria, what is a copyright? A copyright is actually the right that an artist, a maker, has simply on the fact of creating an original work, but then define original. So it's so large. In our law, it just says you are the maker of the work, so you get the copyright, and you can decide what you do with those rights. If you want to sell it, if you want to give it, if you want to rent it, but keep the rights with you, you are allowed to do that. With a trademark, it's a little bit different because you have to pay to get an exclusive right. If you compare it to a copyright, you get it for free. You create, you draw, you're a sculptor, you're an artist, you have the copyrights for free. If you compare it to a trademark, there you have to pay to get an exclusive right. It's like a patent. It's like a model design. It means that you get an exclusive right once you pay for it. And the price can vary. It can be 1,000 euros. It can be 10,000 euros if you are looking for international protection or whatever. But the prices with me are very, very okay. And I think my clients, they pay between the 800 euros and 2,000 euros maximum for a trademark protection, for a design protection in Belgium, Benelux, or the European Union. But you really need to make the difference, because a trademark, you get it as soon as you pay for it. So the government actually, or the system says, wow, you have an exclusive name, you want to claim the name, fine, but you will pay for it. And then it is valid for 10 years. And I made the link with NFTs because I thought, if you can be the owner of a trademark in the Web 2, why can't we be owners of trademarks in Web 3? The only difference is just that we are active on the blockchain, that we are just exchanging and communicating, like with you now in another country, and I'm in another country, but I didn't see any differences. And this is why as a lawyer last year, I thought it was very interesting to actually pull to my business and to say, you are no longer a Web2 business, but you are a Web3 business. That means that everyone can count on me, everyone, digital, but also not digital.
Yeah, that's true. Like I always say, the businesses that do good job at Web 2, they are really good and they will be good at Web 3 because all the rules are probably, and I'm sure, like especially legal rules. Yes, of course, regular contracts are replaced by smart contracts, but still, like you don't need smart contracts to run your project. Do regular contracts. Just do the contract with different platforms. Like it's very important, and people think, like you mentioned it right, that people think that it's very difficult, and this process is not as difficult as it seems. And yeah, I mean, talking about trademarks and patents, like there is also, I think, two options if I'm not mistaken. So you can do your brand, you can make your brand identities, content, like strategy, you have your logo name but without patent, but you are not like saved in this case. Or there is another way that you do this patent, and I think it varies by different countries, the price, the like expire date, etc. And yeah, it's also your choice. I mean, maybe at the early stage the company doesn't need a patent, but when they see that, okay, now I'm ready, now I'm a bit, concerned about competitors or something, they can do the patent. So it's also the way not to spend a lot of money while starting your project, and that's a great point.
But I think it's a must for me as a lawyer for creatives and artists and smallpreneurs. I think what my biggest mission is that I do want to avoid any copycats. I want to stop copycats. I want to stop people who are enjoying to lift on the success of others. It's so easy now with social media to have this imposter syndrome, to be someone you're not. I am someone, I'm very authentic. Maria, you are very authentic as well. And this is okay. Just like in real life, in Web 2, in Web 3, we should be authentic. We should be able to be ourselves. And I think that with what I do as a lawyer, I am very protective of my clients and also my own art, but also of other arts, because I see how easily you can corrupt it. I see how easily someone can steal your ID and just take your name and just have the same business. So like you said, it is a choice. As you start as a business or an artist, you can say, you know what, I don't think it's worth the investment. I will just have my business like that, and then we will see. When it comes to that, I will come to a lawyer. But often it is too late, because the first person who registers as a trademark has all the rights. So that means that it is with a date. It is with a date. You can register in the Benelux. You can register on the European level. You can register only in the United States. But I would advise everyone who starts as a business to do that first. What is the name? Are you a brand or are you a trademark? When you are not protected, for me, you are simply a brand. You are a number. Like I have a number with my TVA. I am a number. As soon as you are protected, you become a trademark, which means that you have value, you have clients, you have value, you have dignity, you have respect as a business. If you sell the business with the trademarks, the value is also better. So I think it's in everyone's interest to see and to also get this awareness. This is really what I want to get also in Web3. Don't start an NFT project if you're not protected. You can protect your business in Web 2. Just draw the line and just take it with you in Web 3. I've seen enough cases, and we can discuss them. What are my favorite cases of plagiarism? It exists also in Web 3. It exists also in NFT project. It is not because you can't touch us, you can't see it. I believe that a lot of artists, they ask me the question and they say, what is the value of an NFT? And I say, what is the value of art? Is it the value you give to it? Yes. So what is the value of an NFT? The value that the community wants to give to the NFT. But it's not different of the Mona Lisa. It's not different of a Picasso artwork. We are willing to pay thousands and millions of euros, dollars, I don't know, for a piece of work from Picasso. So why wouldn't we pay thousands and thousands of euros and dollars for a Bored Ape NFT? I don't see a difference between traditional art and NFTs, because I see digital art as art. Someone created it, the technology has evolved, but everything is evolving, Maria. Everything has evolved. Why is it so difficult for people to accept that digital art or having a digital business is a problem? I think that's really weird with some people.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that probably this evolution and innovation needs, time so people will accept it. It's not that easy. Like, we are in a technologically driven world, and the tech people, like the creatives who are familiar with technology, with digital art, etc., they are more ready for the innovations. Like, we are facing it in a positive way, and we just trying to consume, absorb everything, and create more, like more innovative projects, products, brands, etc. And the people who are not that familiar with that, they are facing it in a bit, like skeptical way. Probably they are looking for some like pros and cons, and yes, and some, especially when they are not when they are not informed well. Like, well, you should be well informed, and what you are doing, what I'm doing, what others are doing, like in our communities. And I see a lot of really influential and like very cool females who are just raising the voice, like sharing the valuable information, and I'm motivated from them. So it's really good that people like this are in this space, and they are just educating others just through their experience, through their knowledge, background, through their past. Like Web3 is just very new for all of us, and we all are looking these parallels among between Web2, Web3, and you mentioned it right, with copyright, with trademarks, and especially with blockchain technology. What blockchain technology brings, it's a transparency, right? So it's very transparent, and of course the plagiarism will be applied very easily, but you also can reveal it and you can see it very fast. So that's why it's very important to like pay attention on this legal stuff, not to have problems in the future. And actually, talking about this copywriting and plagiarism, like AI generated content recently made a lot of noise, and a lot of companies started to use it. A lot of artists like split it. Some of them are very negatively talking about AI, some of them support AI. And how do you think, like, how copyrights works with AI? It's very interesting for me as well. And what is your feeling regarding the AI generated content in general?
I actually have a good feeling. I was speaker last week also at a school about the same topic, because apparently a lot of students got confused by the topic that we would be replaced, that artificial intelligence would mean that we would be like in the movies, we would be replaced with robots and everything. I think that artificial intelligence can actually help us evolve. They spoke about the medicine world. If you see for now how many people need surgery, for example, and where the surgeon needs to make, they showed an example of our skull, and where apparently the surgeon sometimes need to go in the head of the patient to see if there's a problem or anything. Apparently sometimes he's making 1 or 2 holes in the back of our head to find, it's a stupid example, but to find the good hole where the problem or the swollen area is. And there was also an expert, and he said that with artificial intelligence, the system knows and can count in the details where the surgeon should make a hole in the skull. And so that's amazing. So I think not even only for medicine world, but in other things. If you look today, I think artificial intelligence, it is in social media, it is in finance, it is in banking, it is in so many areas of our world already, but we simply wish not to see it. And they think of it as, it's the same as with NFTs, that it is something to come and to destroy the other thing, like normal art. And the same with artificial intelligence, that it is here to destroy our world, but it's not true. It is here to help us. That means also for artists, it can help create better artwork, to have better combinations, or to find the right structure of clothing, for example, where it can really help us. The problem, like you just said, Maria, is the intellectual property rights, because if you look at software, software is protected by copyrights. So that's the same as I just said. If you're the maker of data, if you're the maker of a piece of data like NFTs, or you're the maker of a piece of data or like artificial intelligence, you become the owner of this part or this code. The problem, like NFTs, is when people start to mix. When you make NFTs based on someone else's artwork, it's plagiarism. If you didn't receive the permission to mint up a work in combination with your work and the work of someone else, for me, I say it's plagiarism. The same with artificial intelligence. You can mix it, apparently. You can mix the codes of all already existent codes with new codes. And they said, is this plagiarism? I say yes, because you can become an owner of a piece of data or even a code. But if someone messes up your code, that's also plagiarism. So I would advise the same. Of course, the problem is in your country, in my country, in all over the world. The law is the problem. The law is the fact that the law is behind on technology. You said it yourself. We are moving so fast. We are evolving so fast. Artificial intelligence. When I was like a little girl, I watched the movies because I love the movies with the robots and everything. And they made it like in 2020, there will be a world with robots. And we are 2022. There are no robots. So when you watch it in movies, it is given as a very negative. But again, this is the system, Maria. This is the system trying to scare us. This is the system trying to say, no, don't do this or don't do that. So I think with artificial intelligence, I'm a believer, and I think it can help to leverage our skills, to make us a better entrepreneur, to get a better society. Of course, there are limits. We need to be careful. If you have a system which thinks as a human, we need to be careful. A robot is not a human. A system is not a human. If you ask money and you put it in a machine, the machine is just functioning with code, zeros and one. You are asking 50 euros to withdraw. The system is not thinking or speaking to you. It is just commanding. You are commanding the system, and it gives orders. You give orders, and the machine is just answering orders. I think with artificial intelligence, is for the moment is the same. Where we need to be safe, of course, is that the system isn't replaced, that we don't make the system that smart that we are in danger. That's the only thing. But there is copyright. There is also intellectual property applied on those rules, and I'm very happy for that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I agree. And for me, AI, artificial intelligence, is a tool that will help people to create better products, to in a way to be more innovative. Like, we should use this tool. Not artificial intelligence shouldn't replace people, but people should be using this tool to create better things in the world. As you said, in medicine, in fintech, in any field, it can be applied in any field, and we already see this progression. We already see how things are simplified with artificial intelligence. It can help creatives, and using this artificial intelligence, but knowing what stands behind it, it will help them. And of course, they should consider all the aspects you mentioned. And talking about medicine, how big is it? Like, how artificial intelligence helps from medicine side, it's also very important. Like, the life can be saved, etc. So it's already it's up to us how we will use it and how much it will be involved in our reality and in our lives. So
I think that's the most important thing that you just said now. Maybe this is the most important part of the whole podcast that we are doing now. You should ask yourself, do you live in a friendly or a hostile world? How do you see society? I am not afraid of society. I am just doing whatever I want. But I have an opinion about things, which is maybe not always everyone else's opinion, but I am critical enough to question things. The problem today is people just take all the information for granted. You need to make up your mind for yourself, even from your parents, even from your friends. Watch news, but watch news very carefully. There are enough of YouTube videos and movies where they show like opinions, real opinions. And I think, like you just said, maybe the most important thing is how we see the world. And I see it very positively. This is why I consider myself, and you too, you are a visionary. That means that we see the world that we believe in, And we already act on that, Maria. Also with what you are doing, what I am trying to do for creatives and artists, even if it's new, even if people say, that's weird, intellectual property, should I be protected? Yes, but give yourself time. I am already planting the seeds. And I am not negative. If you are afraid at home, oh no, robots, artificial intelligence, I am an artist and I don't want any digital art, then you will be sad because you cannot stop this. And it's not a bad thing, but the problem is your mindset. The mindset is so important. Whether you are a creative, a mom, whatever you are doing, it is so important on how you see the world, because you give this vision to your children, you give this vision to your friends, to everyone, even on social media. And it's okay to have an opinion, but not to be afraid. I think we cannot be afraid. Also, Web3, there is a lot of negativity around Web3 because people think that it will replace the art part. But when I say, like, it's thanks to the community decides so much. Like you and me today, it is because we have both an interest in Web3, in women, in changing the world, that we can communicate. For me, the best part about Web3 is that I can communicate with someone in Indonesia, in Canada, in Singapore. And if I want to make an NFT and sell my art, I can do that globally. And I am not responsible, or I don't need to wait for the opinion of a museum, of someone, a production house, or someone who's going to say, who are you actually? I don't know if you're good enough. With Web3, like you know, Maria, we have participation, we have decentralization, and we have ownership, digital ownership. And the participation and the community part is my absolute favorite part, because we get so connected with the Discord and the works and the trademarks, and everyone is like, oh wow, what you're doing is amazing. And you create a fan base everywhere in the world, and not just in your little city, for example, where you are, or where I am now in Antwerp. I don't need to wait for a yes or a no from anyone. If I want to make art, if I want to tell something or say something in Web3, I am allowed to do that. And I will go strictly and directly to my fans. And that's what decentralization is. That's a big point where people are afraid, like, will the bank disappear? No, they will not disappear. Museums will not disappear. But it's just, what if we find also another way, and to go directly to the fans instead of always paying money, always ask permission, and to say, you know what, am I good enough? Please tell me I'm good enough. I will tell myself I am good enough. I am the only one who needs to tell myself I am good enough. And I think with Web3, we are not judged. NFTs, no one sees your face. You make art and you are judged on what you make. There is the Discord where you can, it's like an open platform and a communication platform where you can talk to everyone. It was created in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, for gamers. But now it has become a platform where people can actually discuss the NFT lounge. And I think it's very good if you're a fan of some certain NFTs, or you got to know someone also in the same NFT who has the same NFTs as you can communicate. What I really like about NFTs is that no one is here to judge us. No one sees us. You are covered up. It's anonymous when you're buying NFTs or selling them. And I think that's a good thing, because I think in society now we get a lot. We get very much judged on everything. Do you have money? What is your background? And more now it is getting unimportant, because the best entrepreneurs, the best people who do something come from the lowest backgrounds. It doesn't matter anymore. If you have a dream and you want to do it, you just do it. And you don't need to be rich, or you don't need to have the best background to be someone in Web3. And this is what I really like about it, that you can be whoever you want to be, and you don't need any permission. You just need to be you. And in being you means being authentically you. So that means that you, like I said before, need to make sure that the contacts are good. Do you have contracts? Who are the parties you're working with? Put it in the writing, put it also on paper. If you're working with someone, it's like a marriage, actually. If you marry, of course, in the beginning, like, no, it will be fine. My parents are divorced, but now they are very good friends, of course, luckily. But yeah, of course, when you marry, you think, oh, we won't need it. It's the same with friendships. It's the same with having a good business idea and plan. Put it on paper. Everything is so valid if you have it in writing. And it's the same with NFTs. I don't see any difference. The only difference I see is that we get more options. That the community is deciding that if we all together decide tomorrow that blockchain is worth nothing, it will be nothing. If we say tomorrow, Bored Ape, you know what? No, it sucks. It's not cool. We don't like digital art. It will cease to exist. But we are keeping it alive. We are making it alive because due to Corona, also we saw that the business and society ideas became more and more digital. So I think due to Corona, actually, we took a leap, I think, of 2 or 3 years. I think that this should have happened maybe in 3 years. I think this is very early. If you see 2022 and digital and everything, I think it's maybe too early for now. But due to Corona, Maria, I think the system got like very, very technology-wise. We do everything digital. Like now we don't need an excuse anymore. I like that.
Oh my God, I love it. I love everything you said. And that's true. Like Web3 brought this, unity, this, I don't know, to our lives. Like I can be in Georgia and communicating with you about the same interests, the same topics, like the community behind all this is so strong. It's growing so fast. They are so smart, creative people. And as you said, maybe like, we are creating our environment, so it's only our responsibility what we will like bring into our lives, what we will consume, and what we will allow to be like a part of our ecosystem.
Exactly.
Whether it is artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. So we are creating that, so we shouldn't be scared of that. Like we just need to understand how to use it in a right and in a proper way. So that's why like
exactly.
Education is a key. Like when you dig into the topic, you should learn all about that. Like all the parts are very important to create something big, to be on the right path. So that's why. And you mentioned all very important stuff about mindset, about community, and all this.
It is actually all linked. I think that you made a very good point with education. I think people are getting very lazy and they are searching for an excuse to say, oh no, NFTs, crypto, this is so far, I don't know it. But you can get to know it. And I think that the research part is very important. If you want to trade, if you want to labor, if you want to do something with crypto or NFTs, you need to do some research first. Like, what are the options? First, there is some vocabulary. What is the Discord? What is the community? What is NFTs? What is a drop? Why is Twitter so important also for marketing these days? So I think instead of being like, oh, I had some expenses for 1,000 or 2,000 euros. No, just dig in and read books, talk to people, listen to podcasts. This is, like you said, maybe one of the most important parts, because of course, like I just said, the system also, some people are scammers. They want to take your money and they will promise you that you will get rich in 1 month. Of course, it is possible, but we need to be realistic. We are not 2017 or 18 anymore. Those very good times, this is not anymore. This is a more difficult time now for crypto and Web3, but it doesn't mean that people should stop making art. I mean, the best times for art, for creativity are chaos. If you see what Prince said, all newness comes from chaos. Everything that's new, everything that's creative, it's when you are the lowest, when you think I am in depression, I don't feel good, your creative mind is on point. You can do so many things. So I think education, I read 3 to 4 books a month, Maria. I read a lot. I make time to read. I have a book in my handbag, like my bag all the time, everywhere I am, and I need to wait, like I am reading. I love to read biographies of people who made it, all nationalities, women, men, I don't care. I am obsessed to know and to see what did those people do to make it. What did they do? What can I do to also make a difference? because I want to make a difference and to be an example. And like you said, education, don't stay dumb, like don't stay in the traditional way of education, because school teaches us that we have to go in a certain way, that you can't go for art school because you won't make any money of it. When you are 18, you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, because all other jobs are bad, or creative jobs, and you won't make any money of it. And I think by the time you're 18, it's sad, like you're like you don't know who you are. And I think today more than ever, I know who I am, but I want to help others also knowing who you are, because if you don't know who you are, what are you doing? Like everyone is always screaming like, know your why, you have to be passionate about everything. Okay, good if you have a mission, but who are you? Who is the woman who wants to earn 10,000 euros a month? Who is the woman who is talking about all those fancy cars and brands and Chanel bags? Are you doing the work to get all these things? For me, being good and having reached a good level would be to help my parents also financially, to help them, to help other people financially, to do things for free, because I think that's much more, I mean, to be proud of, for me, I'm talking for myself, than to say, look what I'm wearing. And look, it does, in the end, it's not that it doesn't matter. Of course, it is important, but I think the most important feeling is, how are we feeling and what do we want to change? And I think with Web3, again, education, school, go to school, of course, read books, but don't take the system too serious. I think there are a lot of options that you can have a degree on that. But I went for 6 years to law school. That's a long time, and I'm very happy I did. But if you're looking today, it seems as if you're not going to a university or anything, you won't make it. That's not true. You can be the best baker. You can be a wine sommelier. I have even friends, they are specialized in tea, Chinese tea. I love tea. Like if you're creative, you can do whatever you want. I have a friend, and she's a beautician. She makes the most beautiful eyeliners. She's an artist. Like the thinness of her hand that goes on the eyes, she's an artist. So I think I see art in everything, and I wish everyone would see that. But it all starts on us, like you said, education. And how do you see the world? Mindset is everything. How do you see it, and how do you want to evolve? And then you take it with you. Everyone that I teach, everyone that I see, all my interns, my parents, even if they're not entrepreneurs, I take their advice. Like I listen, like, what do you think? I, I will possibly do it differently, but I care about their opinion, because of course they are scared. Those are scary times. Like, shouldn't you work again at a law firm? No, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to work for myself. So you're right. Education is maybe the basis also for Web3. Get informed and get out there like we are doing here today. There are a lot of people. It's only 1% of women and people, and not enough women in Web3. But there are some people now. What I also think amazing, Maria, is that it creates opportunity for women. This is our time to shine. No, not only the men, but also women, like
It was my next
today.
question, and yeah, I'm happy you
Tell me.
just. Yes, my next question was actually about the women and how they should raise their voice. How shouldn't they be scared to do it? You know, because I'm seeing from my perspective. So it was not that easy from me. Like it was in my head all of the time. Like maybe during 2 years to start some community, to bring this value to others, to share ideas, to share experience, to meet like-minded people. But something was stopping me all the time. So I wasn't ready. You know, like I'm not ready yet. Let's do it next time when I'm
not ready yet.
yeah. So that's why the right time is now, and I really like how we are covering all the aspects, you know, like mental, like professional.
It's all linked. I see it, yeah, I see it as a ball with everything. I talk about creativity as a lawyer. I talk about mental health. I am high sensitive, Maria. Do you know what that is? Being high sensitive? That means that I can have the most energy in the world, and then suddenly, because of the light, I can get a migraine. Or if there are too many people in the room, suddenly I will not have a voice anymore. So being high sensitive leads also to be creative or listen to your body. So I think mental health, creativity, legal, and NFTs, everything is linked. And I think for women, your question, what should women do? I think that they should be out there. I think all the jobs will eventually become Web3 jobs. If you are in marketing now, oh my God, you have all those opportunities. Maria, you will not know. Like everything with Twitter now and how you can get this Web3 marketing going on with doing commercials and everything. Like all the jobs, if you're an artist, a creative, even if you're a lawyer, look, you would say, oh my God, how boring can that be? No, I think every job will eventually be Web3 job. Will there be jobs that will disappear? Of course, like every war, for example, or industrial revolution brought also different perspectives into the working areas. But what I think the most interesting part is women. I think we have no longer an excuse to hide behind men, because this is technology, but this involves us. We are creative, we are designers, we are fashion designers, we are hairdressers, we are everywhere. So that means that we can have an opinion about sustainability, economy. How can we solve problems with water? How can we avoid poorness, or how can we help each other? And I think in the end it all comes to community, but not one-on-one. I think women should be together. And I know what you will say. Yeah, but women are not always nice to each other. I know. I've noticed it. And the better you're doing, Maria, the worse the women will talk behind your back. And I know it because it happens also with me quite often. And I'm such a nice, happy person, so I don't want to do any wrong to anyone. But I can understand that some people are like jealous and they cannot deal with it. But the problem is, we only want to make good for everyone. I want to take all the women together and say, like, let's do this all together. But people also need to want this. Women will maybe need to open up a little bit. Like, it's not just one woman or this woman, it's everyone together. And I think Web3 creates an opportunity for women to finally have a voice. Because crypto, in the beginning, it seems like, yeah, what do women know about investing? And what do we know? We know a lot. Like, of course we know. What do we know about art? What do we know about fashion? What do we know about design? What do we know about economics? This is all Web3. So there is no excuse left, Maria. There is no excuse left.
I have the feeling you are speaking my mind, you know? And yeah, I mean, that's true, and we should just make some effort to change it, you know? Like, I faced these challenges as well. Like, one guy is reaching me out telling me, why are you excluding men from your, like, space? And my answer was, I'm not excluding, you are here to teach us, please, like, you are welcome. Another one was reaching me and telling me that, you know, the difference between men and women, men are partnering with each other, women are competing with each other. And I had this protest that I was like, no, we should change it. Of course there are some.
Yes, we really need to change that.
Like only
because you see, people have this idea that men can work together, but we can't work together. That's bullshit. We can work together, but we just don't need to be scared of each other. You can be beautiful and you can be smart and you can be rich, you can be poor, you can be anything you want, but just work together. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it will come. I think it will come, and you know, you are surrounding yourself with the people who have the same mindset as you have, and this is the very important stuff. Concentrate on growth, concentrate on people who are inspiring you. And you mentioned all these success stories that you loved reading the books about like biographies of people who created something big. And if we see, there is no case if like you can create something valuable and make an impact alone. Like, there should be someone, at least one person, who will believe in you, who will motivate you, and it should be like mutually respectful, mutually driven, you know, something to create something great. Exactly. So I'm very inspired about all we talked about, and
me too. I could go on for hours with you, Maria. I could talk about this topic forever. This is why we need to have a second topic and a third topic, and we will do that. We will do that.
We will do that for sure. And right now, like, I'm also working on a collaboration with NFT artists, with musicians. So we are creating an NFT project that will be dedicated to women So after the selling of NFT collectibles, we will sponsor the retreat for 10 females in Georgia. So I'm very excited about that one, and I'm sure your pieces of advice will definitely help us on our way.
Let me know what I can do. Of course, we can have a second Zoom call. Write all your questions, send them in to me so I can see it, and then we can have a second call for you. I will do that for you, Maria. Of course.
Thank you for your
This is
support.
super
Your
nice.
energy is just unbelievable. I'm super motivated and inspired.
I think we are authentic, and I think what you recognize in me is that I have nothing to hide. This is me. I am authentic, and I am also looking for other people like this about Web3. I am so happy about these topics like you that I can talk for hours, but I don't find all those people. Like I told you this week when I went to the event, and those were all people and women in Web3. My boyfriend said, like, I didn't see you all night. You were like talking to everyone and everyone. I said, yeah, because I'm so happy that I don't feel alone anymore. Like this is not something random. This is really happening, and we can do it. Like we will make it. So that's why I'm very grateful for you too, Maria, and to be part of this amazing podcast. And I can't wait to share the message and to share this talk, and definitely we will do some other talks as well. I hope so, because I am developing myself all the time. This is also something I think is very important. The day I don't have any knowledge, or the day I will say, you know what, I know it all, this day will never happen. Like you just said, I am not ready. I'm not ready either. Like, do I know everything? No, I am applying what I know, what the law says, and I'm applying it on NFT and Web3. And this is why people say you are the expert, and I say I am talking about those subjects. So yes, it makes me an expert, but I'm only applying of what the system is not doing or is doing. And yeah, this is why I have an opinion about it, but I am constantly developing. So it's possible that in 1 month, if you talk to me, I will have so much more information. I will have so much more information, because like I said, the artificial intelligence area, that's very nice. I've been asked also to talk at the crypto cafe in Ghent, like I told you. This will make me connected with other people. So I'm very interested to see the creative side, the money side, of course, but also I think most importantly, the community side, what it does to bring those people together. This is why I'm doing it. So thank you very much.
I mean, the only thing I want to add is just get out of your comfort zone, and only then good changes will happen to you.